XRP, it's like from 2 bull markets ago. You might be right. You might love it forever. Just please move to whatever the strong momentum is. I know there's that fear in your head is this time it'll be the big one. You'll get plenty of notification, you get back in, but don't miss the bull market because you're in a narrative of past. And the communities are huge. And I don't want to get attacked by people online for this, but I just feel like you're being done a disservice by being in a cult. Our job is to be mercenaries. We're in the job to make money, not to be a cult. Cults don't make money except for the leaders. So I know it hurts people when I say this. Cardano, XRP, there's a whole bunch of these. I really hope you're right, but I hope it's not an investment.
Good evening, Warriors. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite crypto news-related channel. And today, we are celebrating another XRP pump. Now, anybody who joined us last night knows that XRP was $2.58 when we ended the live stream. Well, today, my bold proclamation came true, Mario. I said we were going to break 260, wake up, have a $2.70 XRP. Now, little did I know, my guess would actually be shortchanging the pump that we were on the precipice of having, as we reached all the way to $2.95 during the pump this morning. But one thing is absolutely obvious. The XRP community is about to start making a whole lot of money in the back end of 2025, and it starts right here, pre-regulation inside the United States. But I wanted to show you guys a couple of updates that we did not go over this morning. Now, first of all, President Trump tweeted this out yesterday morning before the market started pumping. He said tech stocks, industrial stocks, NASDAQ hit all-time high, record highs, crypto through the roof. So what do we know for sure, Mario? Donald Trump is very inclined to have crypto succeed here. And his number one agenda for the crypto community has been to make America the crypto capital of the world. I've also got a brand new article we're going to take you through in regards to the SEC as the floodgates have opened, according to this publisher, for crypto ETFs, marking a new era for the crypto industry. So we're going to take you guys through some catalysts, through some deadlines, and most importantly, we've got the market multiplier in full effect. Whether you watch Mikkel, Zach Rector, or any other XRP content creator, guys, XRP performs extremely well because when this chart is moving, the volatility is like no other project in the entire crypto space. But Mario, it's not just the XRP community that's celebrating today. Bitcoin trading at $117,350, but even the XLM community, or I shouldn't say even, I should say also the XLM community, I think you said it, Mario, up 50% on the week, 27% on the day, trading at about 37 cents this morning. And XRP investors know when XRP is moving, XLM is moving. When XLM is moving, XRP is moving. It's always been that way. But live chat, I'm excited. We got Mr. Mario joining us for the first Good Evening Crypto episode of his career. First of many, Mario. So first of all, how are you feeling? And what's your reaction? A lot of optimism heading into the back end of this year. We are pre all these positive catalysts, yet XRP already trading at $2.80.
Well, for the first time, good evening, Warriors. I hope everybody's doing amazing. Super excited to be here. First episode of Good Evening Crypto. Thank you, Abs, for having me. But yeah, it's that video that you played to start off with from Raul Paul. It is one of those videos that did not age well whatsoever. At some point, he said, "I know you think this time might be different. Well, guess what? This time was different." And I guess this time was the time that you definitely wanted to be in those dinosaur coins. So we call them Cardano, XRP, XLM. And it's just exciting that because at some point this was going to happen. At some point, projects like XRP, XLM, and even Cardano that have been around for a while, but it's not the fact that they've been around for a while. It's the fact that they've been building, they've been creating something solid for what we anticipate is going to happen with regards to the crypto space, which is, this transition of absorbing the financial system. And so it's happening now. And we got a narrative back last November that was supportive of these technologies. So that's why sticking to your research and sticking to your belief system is so important, and not getting swayed by what you hear the next person say. Of course, we got to listen to the experts. Of course, we got to listen. We should listen to different opinions, but at the end of the day, we need to formulate our own and we need to stick to it. And this is a perfect example. And the one thing that's exciting too, Abs, is that I remember back in November, XLM also started moving first. XLM kind of had the best gains in the beginning, but then obviously XRP ended up surpassing it in terms of percentage. And we're seeing the same thing over the last 48 hours. We saw that XLM started moving when I was actually on the plane here to Arizona on Wednesday. XLM was doing like, I think 30%. It was starting to move. And then XRP ended up following suit. So I'm excited because that tells me that XRP is potentially going to catch up and even potentially surpass that those 50%, 50 something percent gains that XLM has done in the last week. So $2.82 for XRP. We're just getting started, in my opinion. Again, I think the next few weeks are going to be crucial, and obviously the next couple months as we continue to develop this bull run for the remainder of the year.
And Mario, the XRP community is excited for good reason, because this pump that we're experiencing in July, this is before the Genius Act, which is for stable coins, before the Clarity Act, which is for crypto regulation, and before the ETF approvals, which we're going to take you through later on in today's episode, showing us that spigots of liquidity are about to be turned on here in 2025 that will never turn off. When they start buying these crypto products through these ETFs, Mario, from that day forward, the United States crypto economy is going to be growing on a daily basis. And we're going to be covering that right here on Good Evening Crypto as well, guys. We already got 3,800 live listeners here. If you're enjoying this content and you're excited about XRP, show us some love, smash that like button. Now, Mario, couple of things people should keep in mind. Now, currently, the executive director for the Crypto Council is Bo Hines. And what did he state? He believes that when the Genius Act is passed, the crypto market will hit anywhere between $15 to $20 trillion in total market cap over the next 12 months after the passing of the bill. Now, why is that the case? The largest companies on the planet are going to be using stablecoins and, more importantly, blockchain starting right here in 2025. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, which blockchain are they most likely to use? Well, the largest American-made digital asset right now is XRP. And we've already passed US dollar tether today, reaching 166 billion in total market cap, even during this pullback we're experiencing here. Live chat, I would love to hear ones if you think we break all-time high in July, twos if you think we stay below that number for the remainder of this calendar year. But Mario, looking at the XRP price chart, we're volatile. There's plenty of buyers. You can see volume picking up, and the majority of this buying is coming offshore. It is coming from South Korea, and I'm going to show you guys some of the data, but I wanted to start off today's episode with just a small tangent here, because what have we been covering all week? We've been talking about how the House has officially named July 14th through July 18th next week Crypto Week. Why is that? They're going to be discussing the Clarity Act, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, and the Genius Act. And we could have all of these on the president's desk and signed by the end of August. So this is very important because these issues are being addressed as we speak. Well, Democratic candidates came out in an effort to counter the GOP's Crypto Week. Maxine Waters and Stephen Lynch are launching the Anti-Crypto Corruption Week, rallying Democrats to block the Genius Act, block the Clarity Act, and block the anti-CBDC bill. They are warning that they pave the way for what Trump calls crypto corruption, right? So what are we seeing right now? The anti-crypto army, believe it or not, Mario, most people thought they were dead and gone. Most people thought they died with the resignation of Gary Gensler. Elizabeth Warren is still here. Maxine Waters is still here. Stephen Lynch, let's throw this guy on screen. I'm not even entirely sure who he is, so we'll have to get a little reminder. He looks outdated, quite frankly. So that would be my initial reaction. But Mario, they are pressing to have this space be deregulated, and they don't want the anti-CBDC bill not passed, right? So that's an interesting one, because if they were denying the Genius Act and they were denying the Clarity Act, at least there'd be some rationale for an argument. The denying of the anti-CBDC bill makes no sense. And I think our live chat, I would love to hear from you guys. What are some of your thoughts and opinions? But Mario, any quick reaction to this article? Maxine Waters pushing for the Anti-Corruption Week as a reaction to the Crypto Week out of the House.
Well, it kind of gives us an indication that we're not exactly out of the woods just yet, right? That there still could be something that basically, as Brad Garlinghouse has been saying time and time again, that we went from having headwinds to having tailwinds. I think that we can still expect, this kind of gives us the indication that we should still expect some headwinds, that it's not going to be just sort of like a clear road. That's it. We're off to the races. But at the same time, and something that stuck out to me during that hearing on Wednesday was that there is a strong sort of movement against how Trump has been handling the whole crypto scenario. And I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that there could potentially be a conflict of interest with the fact that he launched his own meme coin, with the fact that he has involvement in World Liberty Financial. Those were questions, and those were things that were mentioned even during the hearing. At some point, could it become something more significant? Can Trump be held more accountable for some of the things that he's advocating for when it comes to crypto, as far as because of the fact that he launched the meme coin? I've said it before on Good Morning Crypto. I don't necessarily think that launching a meme coin in the short term, amazing. Don't get me wrong. In the short term, creating a lot of hype, it's bringing in a lot of money to the crypto space. But in the long term, I have a feeling that at some point it's going to kind of bite him in the ass because of the fact that he launched the meme coin right as he was about to take the presidency. But we'll see what happens. Either way, we win, right? And that's the thing that matters. Is either way, this technology is here to stay. Are there going to be arguments about how they should go about regulating it? Who's doing things the right way? Who's not doing things the right way? Is there a conflict of interest? Is there no conflict of interest? Absolutely. We're going to find these bumps in the road, but it's not going to be any different to what we've experienced up until now, which is headwinds come, we move past them, and then eventually we just go higher, which is what the crypto space has done time and time again every time we experience these cycles. And that's what I believe is going to continue happening. I believe that there's going to be some sort of headwinds. There's going to be some sort of wall that we kind of hit for a little bit that maybe takes us into a bear market. Whatever that is, we will find out eventually. But at the end of the day, over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, we are going to see growth. We are going to see volume increase. We are going to see adoption, and we are going to see institutions begin to leverage this technology more and more, where all the things that at some point were conspiracies are becoming reality, which is the evolution of the internet absorbing the financial system and them beginning to leverage the crypto technology for many of the things that we talk about on a daily basis. So that's kind of what I feel about it, Abs, as far as my analysis.
Here's what's interesting too, guys, is that a lot of people have been saying it for a long time. Donald Trump shouldn't have launched his meme coin. But the reality is, I don't think it should prevent crypto regulation here inside the United States. It's almost like there's so many positives to this space becoming regulated for everyday people, the people in our live chat, the people like me and you, Mario, who are owning these assets and holding them for a long period of time. We are the people who are going to benefit in the long run off the evolution of digital assets. But Donald Trump owning a meme coin should not prevent the United States of America from being pro-crypto. It just seems like a complete false flag, misleading statement when they lead with that. I do want to give a massive shout out from the 20 from Messy Leo. Hit the like with a bunch of rockets. We appreciate you, my friend. And I want to give a massive thank you to every single person who watched and donated last night. That was a phenomenal stream. We had so much fun. So I cannot thank the XRP community enough for watching this content and being excited, just like we are, Mario, having the same conversations that we have in our group chat. Oftentimes they are being had right here as well. But looking at what's happening today, the SEC is set to make a major announcement in regards to guidance on ETFs. And here's what's said. The new Trump-appointed chairman, Paul Atkins, is one step closer to his vision of decentralized finance after the SEC released new guidance this month, giving asset managers more details on how to get exchange-traded products tied to cryptos approved by the commission. Now, this move invites the anticipated gush of funds exposed to cryptocurrencies like Solana, Ripple, and potentially even Trump meme coin. Now, here's the quote. The floodgates are basically completely open right now for what can be introduced, said Crypto Insights CEO. The digital asset data provider connects institutions to fund managers, and they stated, we anticipate seeing much more capital coming into the crypto investment products through these new ETFs. Now, Mario, the ETF narrative is something very important, especially if you are a newer investor. You must be aware of the ETF approval, because what is that going to do? It is going to allow retirement portfolios to get instant access to many of our favorite digital assets. Solana, Cardano, XRP, all of these different products currently have ETF applications sitting at the SEC today. And now we got a clear indication from both the chairman and the SEC commissioners that they are going to be working to release new guidance for ETFs tied to cryptocurrencies. And Mario, I'm going to pull up the list because I think our listeners will appreciate it as well. There are 19 different XRP ETF products sitting at the SEC right now, and it's some of the largest asset managers in America. This is not some small group of names. Bitwise, and we were fortunate enough to interview Matt Hogan just a couple of weeks ago. We have 21 shares. We have Grayscale, 40 billion in assets. ProShares, 70 billion in assets. Wisdom Tree, 113 billion in assets. And Franklin Templeton sitting at $1.5 trillion worth of assets under management, ready to start issuing an XRP ETF inside the United States. And the best part is, not only is it their assets under management that are important, it is the millions of people who custody their wealth with these companies. And now Franklin Templeton is going to say, we think it's a smart approach to have a diversified basket of different cryptocurrencies. So we're going to put you in this, what we call Franklin Templeton basket ETF, 60% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 15% XRP, 5% Solana. We think that's a much better approach. People like us are the ones who are going to benefit. And it only takes a few $1 billion to dramatically move the market cap of XRP. We've seen this time and time again. And that's why I always give a shout out to Mikkel and Zach Rector, Mario, is because when it comes to the market cap multiplier, if we see $5 million worth of new liquidity come into XRP, we watch the market cap move anywhere from $1 to $1.5 billion on average. So that means if we see $50 million come in, this market cap moves about $15 billion. Extrapolate that with the amount of new liquidity that we are going to see through these ETF products. JP Morgan is predicting modestly $4 to $8 billion. That could lead to a market cap increase north of $150 billion if I'm lowballing it for XRP just based off the ETFs alone. So when people sit there and they say, it's $2.80 XRP, I'm new to the community, am I late? You are not only late, you are early. We are probably sitting at the bear market lows if we even have a bear market, guys. But we are at 6,800 live listeners, over 440 watching on the new Good Evening Crypto channel, guys. Massive thank you to Messi Leo for the donation. We're appreciative of every single person here. If you enjoy this content, smash that like button. Let me know some of your thoughts in chat. And the question that I have for you guys, what is your 2025 peak price prediction for XRP? Because if it's 282 today, I think there's a large portion of the community who understands the majority of this bull market is in front of us. So I'm super excited. Mario, any quick remarks there? And we'll dive into some articles.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is that the demand is real. And the one thing that we're going to see is once these ETFs get approved, because I really do believe that it's just a matter of when, not if anymore. When they get approved, it's going to be a great indication for XRP. It's going to be almost like an unlock of capital. I am very interested to see if we're going to have sort of like a similar type moment to XRP, or like, is the effect on XRP's price action going to be similar to what happened to Bitcoin when it got approved, when the ETFs got approved? And honestly, I believe it will to a certain extent. And I also believe that long term, it's going to be one of the best things that can happen for the asset, because as you rightly mentioned, it's going to allow for now XRP to be available in these traditional investment accounts as an option for people to be able to diversify into it. So we're going to go from a time where the only way to get invested in Bitcoin was through a crypto exchange, the only way to be invested into XRP was through a crypto exchange, to now being able to invest in these assets, being able to invest in Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana at some point as well, through a traditional investment account. And what's the best part about it is that financial advisors are going to be able to start saying, hey, this is an available option, and you should start to allocate a percentage of your portfolio towards these crypto assets. So it's going to add to clarity. It's going to add to legitimacy, where we can finally go from this asset class being called an instrument used by criminals and for illegal activities to actually be recognized as a real asset class that's making a real impact, and it's the technology that's here to stay. So that's what I really think is going to happen, Abs. It's just legitimacy. Whether it creates something for price action or not, I know that long term it will, because it's adding legitimacy to the project, and it's putting XRP in front of an audience that was not there before. So
It's just the beginning, guys. And I'm thinking about this in the background, Mario. Check out this price chart I wanted to show you all. We are actually doing something very similar to what we saw in 2017, where XRP went on and created historic all-time highs. If we are looking at this image right here, and Waters Above is drawing upon a $15 price target by the end of July. Now, whether we get there or not, time will tell. We're only $13 away from July 24th. And if we're trading at $15 by July 24th, guys, my goodness, I don't even know what to say. We're going to have a whole different life in the next couple of weeks, Mario. That's all I can say in regards to that. But there's an interesting piece of data I became aware of yesterday. If XRP were to pass Bitcoin today, we would need a market cap of about $40. And this data was taken at $111,000 Bitcoin. Now we are currently trading at $117,000. This person, Coins Kid, Mario, I think you used to watch him back in the day as well. I know I did. He said, I'm seeing many targets catching up to my $27 price target for XRP. And it doesn't seem so far-fetched now, does it? It just takes time to get there. The road to $27 continues. And what's pretty cool about this is that even if XRP did a 10x, let's say we went to $28 from where we are right now, Mario, we're still below Bitcoin and fairly significantly. So this isn't some unrealistic, never going to happen type of a move. I think it actually paints a more bullish case scenario for the XRP community, who knows that we've been hyper suppressed since 2017. And especially during the Biden administration in 2020 to 2024, we are overdue for an exacerbated move, for a move that takes us higher than people anticipate. And that could be $12, that could be $25, it could be $30. But I think these higher double-digit price targets are becoming more realistic. And with XRP right on the precipice of hitting that all-time volatility, once we get above 385, this price chart is going to explode. That's not my opinion. That is the opinion of dozens of analysts all across Twitter. I'm going to show you a tweet. I can't remember his name in the background. I'm thinking of Peter Thiel, but it's not him. He put out a price chart. It was XRP trading inside this box. And he goes, guys, when we break out, this is historic. And what's important about that is he's not an XRP investor. So I'm going to show you some of these updates later on in the episode, Mario. But just to give our listeners a quick rundown of what we've seen in the past 2 days alone, we watched XRP go from about, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at the 4-hour time frame. So this isn't great. But in the last 72 hours, we saw XRP go from 225 all the way to about $2.97 this morning. Now, I've been calling for this and predicting for this for a while, Mario. Daily closure above 260, weekly closure above 285, and this price chart is going to get explosive. I really believe that. That is what we're doing right now. If we get a daily closure 8 p.m. above 260 tonight, check off one box, that's a win. If we make it to Sunday night above 285, bull market is in full effect. We're going to see daily closures above $3 next week. And bookmark it and remember it here, guys. You heard it on Good Evening Crypto. But I saw massive thank you to Severian ID. We see you every single day. So huge shout out to you with the $10 donation. Celebration is in the air, $2.81 XRP. And people are complaining about this short-term pullback, guys. I said we'll backtest 285 and we'll probably rise from there all the way to about 292. If I had to guess, 292. That seems to be the next range of resistance on the XRP price chart. Now, here's another one. Big thank you, $2 dono from Dennis. When the XRP ETFs come out, $50, bank on it. I think the math is working in our favor, guys. We are going to see more and more companies excited about the idea of XRP and pitching it to their clients, just like Sal Gilberti was from Tucrium just a couple of months ago. Mario, remember when we met him at XRP Las Vegas? And he told us, he goes, somebody said he looks outdated. That's funny. Remember that. He told us, he's like, I've never been to another convention for a stock, for a company where people are this excited and this invested in the asset. That's what XRP is. Extremely unique, and that is for a reason. Massive thank you to K Capone, another daily listener, looking sharp in the profile picture with the $4.99. The floodgates are about to open wide. I appreciate the multiple lives a day. I said it. During XRP season, when we're in a bull market, when we're moving like this, I'm willing to go live whenever these charts are moving. I want to be actively engaging this. And I want the content saved on the channel so I can look back and be like, look at that back in 2025 before we knew XRP was going to be $65, $70 in a short period of time, right, Mario? So lots of exciting stuff. Guys, we got over 8,300 people here. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And I do want to give a massive thank you to every single donation. We appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Mario, floor is yours, my friend. Having been here since 2017, we back tested $2. We held that for 8 months, and we finally began our breakout. And I think when you look at it on the daily time frame, we're looking at the 4-hour. So I'll zoom out here for our listeners to understand. We've just been consolidating between $2 and $2.60 really up until this morning. So a lot of people have said we created this all-time high of 330 and a low of 160. 99% of the trading action for the last 8 months has been between $2 and $2.60. Today, we have officially broken out, right? So this person said, Abs just keeps the camera on at all times. Unfortunately, it's been that way over the last couple of days. Actually, not unfortunately, fortunately, because every time I am streaming, XRP is pumping and I get to be here with all you guys. So thank you so much. I'm excited that people want to show up and celebrate with us, right, Mario? So what are some of your thoughts?
You know what's the good news, Abs, is that when we're live or when you're live and XRP is pumping, at least we're not the Cobb effect, right? Where he goes live and then the XRP price tanks. So at least we're not getting that type of effect for the XRP price point. But look, you're spot on, Abs. And look, I've had the opportunity of seeing XRP at these prices already a couple of times. And those of you that are new to investing in crypto or new to XRP, and even if you got in 2021, this is a price level that you have not seen yet. I had the opportunity of seeing these price levels back in 2017. January 2018 was actually when it happened and when it went to all-time high. And we haven't been able to see these prices since. So it's been a long journey to get to here. And one of the reasons why it also makes sense for us to get a really special price action from XRP this cycle is because when we take a chart into consideration and the fact that last cycle we were suppressed because of what happened with the SEC, we're looking at a consolidation period between 2018 all the way up until 2024. So we basically just stretched the consolidation period, the chart, to where we're looking at a 7-year prolonged period of consolidation. That essentially means that the high targets, they're even higher than if we were to just take into account the 4-year cycles. So absolutely, am I conservative with my price targets? I am. Do I think that $6 to $8 is what I personally believe is 100% in the cards? Yes. Do I think that higher targets are not possible? No. Do I think that they're less probable? I do, but $27, we could get there. I mean, it's a smaller percentage in my mind. I think it becomes less likely from a conservative approach. But again, there's a lot of different catalysts. There's a lot of things happening. I am certainly open-minded, and that's why even when we talk about an exit strategy, I'm not selling all my XRP. I am selling whatever makes sense for my personal paradigm, my personal goals, and I plan on holding it for much higher targets. So if we continue to move up and we get to $15 by the end of this month, by like Waters speculates, amazing. If we get to $27 at some point, if we get to $100, like Seven Dennis says, by the end of this year, fantastic. We'll all be celebrating, and that's the exciting part of it. But nonetheless, this is what XRP does, and I think that the next couple of months are going, and even the next few weeks are going to be so exciting.
Guys, massive thank you to Vivek Kumar. He said, I have 10x futures XRP currently with 100% profit. Should I still hold for $3 or more? Now, here's the thing, guys. We're not financial advisors. We cannot give financial advice. But the reality is that you have to be able to stomach the volatility. I'd need to know what your liquidation price is in order to give you correct advice on that one. So Vivek, thank you so much for I don't know what currency that is either. It's 100 worth of something. That's all I can say about that right there. I've never seen that one in my life, but we're very thankful. Thank you to Vivek. Thank you to every other person who donated as well. Tyler commented, you have to check out COMP 9 million in supply with utility. Pretty interesting. I don't plug projects that I haven't done research on, so I have not researched that. If somebody wants to fill me in, that'd be great. But Mario, here's what's interesting. XRP is moving as we speak. And if we get back above 290 here, it could get explosive and it could get really, really fun for the XRP community. Now, what's my favorite part about crypto? When these prices are moving, everybody's making money together. And we're on that journey right now. The crypto community is looking at the XRP project. I think when this thing breaks all-time high, Mario, we are going to see speculative traders step into this market, very similar to peak euphoria back in 2021. When XRP went from 17 cents all the way to $1.90 in only 4 months, that's an 11.5x. We could see the same thing from these prices here. We could see a $2 XRP go all the way to $17, $18 And that would be totally normal in comparison to what we've seen. And due to the hyper suppression of the last 2 cycles, meaning when Ethereum was crushing it, when Bitcoin was crushing it, XRP was below all-time high for the entire time here. We are in a new day and age. And I mean, look at this, guys. I believe, and I'll say it again, I believe that we are going to see a much bigger candle than what we witnessed here in November. This is a $2.25 monthly candle. I believe we are going to see way more than a $2.25 monthly candle for the XRP community eventually. It really is a matter of when, not if. But I want to give a big thank you to Jay, the $5 donation. We appreciate you. $1,000 XRP by the end of the year with the utility run. Maybe I'm too bullish, LOL. Well, stairway to heaven, right? If we're getting to $1,000, we're definitely going to get $10 before that. So I'm in agreement with you. Shout out to you, my friend. Vivek commented, my liquidity price is 160. You are golden. Let me just say it like that. Not financial advice, never it is. But if hypothetically somebody had a liquidation price of 160, they're in a great situation here at 283. And I'm telling you guys, we may see XRP back above 290 before the end of this stream. But I want to give a big thank you to Vivek for his donation and to Jay for his donation as well. Mario, what are some of your thoughts on what we could see over the next 6, 8, 12 months? Because I think that's what's really exciting for XRP. This is great. We're all making money together. We're at 280, 290. When we break all-time high, are you one of these people who thinks that it's like Waters is saying, it's a quick road to double digits? It may be we break all-time high and 4 or 5 days later we're at $10. Or could it be a situation where it's actually a long drawn-out journey? We go to 6, we pull back to 4, we go to 8, we pull back to 6. One key detail I would keep in mind, when XRP moves, it moves faster and bigger than any other project. November is a great example of that. So if we were to break all-time high and volatility steps in, it would actually be very fitting that the journey was super quick to go from $4 to $10. But live chat, I'd love to ask you if you think we're getting a double-digit XRP in this calendar year. 1's in the chat. 2's if you think we stay below that number. Mario, what are some of your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is that when we get to $3, which we're almost there, to $6, that's only a 2x. And what XRP has done going from 60 cents all the way to being now 282, that was a way bigger move than us going from 3 to 6. So the next thing is Bitcoin, XRP, and the rest of the altcoins. They're moving in tangent with Bitcoin. And what I mean is, like, Bitcoin moves up, then the rest of the market tends to move up. Like, we're not at a point where XRP is moving completely independent to the market. XRP is pumping while all the market is not pumping. Market's stagnant or even moving down while XRP is pumping. That is not the case. So a lot of what happens over the next few months is, in my opinion, still going to be dependent on the macro of crypto. So if crypto in general is doing good, I would anticipate XRP to continue to do good. Can it at some point decouple? Absolutely, but I don't think that's going to happen just yet. I don't think it's going to be a 2025 thing just yet. When we get to a full-blown utility run where there's isolated volume happening for all these different blockchains, and it's not a matter of speculation anymore and just a hype thing, then yes. But for now, I do still think that it's a combined move because of crypto in general. So Bitcoin continues to do well for the rest of the year, and Bitcoin continues to do what the bull run usually happens for Bitcoin. Then we can anticipate XRP doing its thing. And again, to $6, that's only a 2x, right? So, and we get to $9, that's a 3x. So it's in the cards. It can happen very fast. I certainly remember back in January 2018, it happened very, very quickly. I don't think we even had we didn't even have a monthly candle close that was high enough to where we're at today. We certainly had way higher monthly closes at these levels than back then. So we're creating better structure. We're creating really good structure so that XRP has more trading volume at these higher levels. And for us to get to $6, it's really not going to be that difficult. It's going to move pretty quick. And for us to move from $6 up, I don't think it's going to be too difficult as well, because we're no longer talking about having to do a 10x, right? If we go from 60 cents to $6, that's the 10x move. So anything above that obviously becomes a smaller move compared to the prices that we're at right now. And I do think it's in the cards. I'm going to be taking profits between $6 to $8 because that's already 10x from that 60 cent range. And although I do think that there is a chance we could go higher, I'm going to stick realistic, and I'm going to stick to my exit strategy that I built when it wasn't emotional. Because trust me, when we get to $6, $7, $8, it's going to feel so natural that we're going to be going to 15. It's going to feel so natural that it's going to go to 20. So your mind's going to start playing tricks on you. And it's going to be the same thing as when we were at $3.20 and we were here on the show talking about selling, and people were like, why are you selling if we're going to go much higher? And then look what happened. We ended up coming back down to $2. We consolidated for a while, plenty of time to be able to reaccumulate, if anything. So I think the same thing is in the cards apps for us to experience once we get to like $6, $7, $8.
I agree, Mario. And the question I have for the chat, is that life-changing wealth for you? Mario, I think for me and you, like, nobody has to know what our bags are or anything. We're not even indicating that, but I do think a $7 XRP would provide the financial cushion that the XRP community is waiting for. And whether you're taking profit there or not, I think a $7 XRP, take whatever the value of your portfolio is right now and 3x it. I mean, I think we'd all be in a phenomenal situation. I can't speak for everybody else. I did just want to remind you guys, if you are not subscribed to the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel, that's where we are live from right now. When I reach 10,000 subscribers, which I think right now we're at 6,600. So huge thank you to every single person who subscribes. I am going to be raffling off this David Schwartz hat, this signed David Schwartz hat. We're giving it away completely free. And Mario, the interesting part about this David Schwartz hat is the marker that people sign this with sold for $100. Right? So David Schwartz signed this. The Sharpie that he used went for $100. That's what I've been saying. It's at least $100 hat right here. And we're going to be giving it away absolutely free on Good Evening Crypto. So if you'd like to be have a chance to win, not only should you show up to the streams, make sure you're subscribed to the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. But Mario, $7 is only a 2.5x. That's nothing, Ab, says Eric. I got to be honest, though. 2.5x for my crypto portfolio would make a major difference. And I think there's a lot of people out there who feel the same way. I'm not life-changing generational retirement, nothing like that. But it would provide a nice financial cushion, make my crypto bags look a little bit better. And Johnny burped on stream last night. I burped on stream today. It is what it is. If you're going to do 2, 3, 5 hours worth of live streams in a day, a couple of burps are going to happen during the program. So I apologize about that, guys. But we did just pass 10,000 followers or live listeners. Sorry, Mario. Give me some of your thoughts, and then we'll get into some stories.
Well, look, I think like I'm seeing the comments, and a lot of people are like, $7 is not life-changing for me. $15 is not life-changing for me. Like, it all depends on what life-changing means, right? It all depends on like what your goals are, what you're thinking you're going to get out of your investment. Did you put 10,000 and you want that 10,000 to become $1 million? If we do a 10x from the 10,000, then that means you have 100,000. So you're still far from your 1 million, goals. So everybody's going to be different. You just have to. The most important thing is just having your own plan. For me, having been invested into XRP since 2017 and a majority of it being acquired in 2020, I was fortunate that I was able to buy it at around that 30-40 cent range. Even picking some up in that 50-cent range. We get to $3. I mean, we get to $4. That's already a 10x for me, right? We get to $6. That's a 10x for most people that had the opportunity of accumulating during that 60-cent range. So depending how much money you put in, I think the big thing, Abs, is that misconception, in a way, a misconception of how certain people kind of position what investing in XRP is like. And what I mean is, like, a lot of content creators are saying buy 1,000 XRP and that's going to be enough to change your life. They're putting a number and they're creating sort of like this expectation in people. It creates an expectation in people, especially the ones that maybe new, where they think they're buying 1,000 XRP, and in the short term, that's going to turn into millions of dollars. So you kind of have to be a little bit realistic at the same time. So again, I don't want to rule out any price targets. I really don't, because at the end of the day, I don't know. I have my own belief system based on what I think could happen, based on experience, based on my own analysis, but I don't know. Like, nobody knows. And the people that are calling for $15, the people that are calling for 27, they don't know as much as I don't know. And I'm speculating $6 to $8. But I think that it's good to stay realistic, and it's good to have goals, and it's good to have targets. But when it comes to life changing, it all depends what that means for you. If you put in $10,000 and that becomes 100,000, maybe that is life changing, because all of a sudden now you don't have to worry about money for a little bit. Maybe you have a bit of a cushion to where you can not worry about paying bills for a little bit. Maybe you can put a down payment on a house if you're able to afford the mortgage with your income. So it all depends, but everybody's different. And I know for me, getting to $6 to $8 is going to be life changing to a certain extent. Am I going to be a multimillionaire? No, but it is going to be life changing to a certain extent, because I know exactly what I'm going to do with that money. I know exactly what I need to do to be able to continue growing that money. And that's what it's all about. It's just about you enjoying the journey, getting educated, learning what you should and can be doing with money to be able to continue allowing it to grow. And so that's kind of on that.
Mario, I love this comment here. It said, if we repeat the 2017 fractal, we are going anywhere between $20 to $27. That's life-changing for many people, in my opinion. Live chat, I would love to hear, ones, if that's life-changing, twos, if we need a higher number. Black Squirrel commented, man, I love this show. And here's what's exciting for you, Black Squirrel. You are now officially a moderator, my friend. I know that was a big deal last night, so shout out to you. And obviously, I'm being a little sarcastic there, guys. But we'll look at what Waters had put out earlier in the month, Mario. He told us $15 by July 24th. But let's talk about how we get there. I'm going to play a short video here from our good friend, Raul Paul, once again, who's describing what alt season could look like for altcoin investors, guys. Let me know some of your thoughts in the chat while this plays. Here it is.
These are the cycles. I keep explaining this to you. When Banana Zone, told you when it started it over here. We had the correction zone. We explained the correction zone. The next thing we're in is this phase 2 of the banana zone before the correction. We're not there yet. We had a bit of sideways for a couple of weeks, and you guys lose your minds. I can't help you. Do you remember this chart? I keep bringing this chart up because you forget it. Immediately you look away and go, well, somebody else said the market's going to get down into tops, and somebody else said my altcoins aren't going. Just look at the chart. Look at the chart. Look at the chart. Look at the business cycle chart. Look at the dollar. Generally, it gives you all you need to know. And everything else is fucking noise. And you get so emotional about the noise. I get it. I get emotional too. My P&L goes up and down. I don't look at my P&L. I have no idea what it is. A zero idea. Literally zero. I haven't checked my P&L in 4 months. So I have no idea what it is. But I get bored when the market goes sideways. Engagement goes down. People aren't as fun. Then it goes down a bit more. And then people start getting really angry and salty and went banana and this and this and this. That's kind of a signal like we're towards the end of the thing. Don't let your emotions rule it. These things take time. The people who get really rich in crypto are in the space for a long time. They're not trading it. And you think that some bloke on Twitter who trades stuff is going to answer your questions. No. Time answers your questions. You just did nothing. You can't. I've told you this 100 times, and you come back and go, well, I went down 80%, blah, 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 blah. Just, you need time. Compound returns take time.
Simple, Mario. He said it. There's no short-term solution to long-term investing. Sitting in these projects for a long period of time, building your portfolios when XRP's 50 cents, when Bitcoin's less than $10,000. These are the people who create generational wealth. And luckily for our community, people have been buying sub 50 cents, sub $2 XRP. And even if your price target is just below where we are today, congratulations, you have already started your journey of making a little bit more money using crypto. Now, I want to give a big shout out to Dennis with the $5 donation. Thank you so much. He says, don't forget what Yusko said. Here's what he meant. The Fed Reserve master account is the base layer. Where's my evening wrench? Dennis, you've earned an evening wrench. Of course you have, because I see you every single day. So I'm going to get on that and get you a wrench right now. But Mario, the important part of his comment we've talked about for a while, the Fed master account being the base layer. We can expand on this, and I actually have a video that I would like to play for you guys. Let me just locate this video in the background really quick, and I'm going to show you how the acquisition of Hidden Road is very important as well. But Mario, any quick comments just while I pull up that video?
Well, that video from Raul Paul, the things that he says, I completely agree with him. And time is the most important thing as an investor in crypto. Time is going to give you, like, the only reason why I have an average cost of 40 cents, around 40 cents for XRP, is because I've been in it long enough, right? The only reason why somebody has maybe an average cost of $2 right now is because they probably just got in. But if they continue holding, and if they continue dollar cost averaging 5 to 10 years from now, when XRP is, who knows, $1,000, then they have an average cost of $2, $3. It was time that allowed that to happen. So absolutely, time in the market is very, very important. Time in the market just allows you to see that compound growth. It allows you to see the money that you're putting into the market, really grow, and you kind of stop focusing on the short term price action because it almost becomes irrelevant. So I completely agree with that video. I thought that that's a very good perspective to have. I think that that's a perspective that honestly applies to everyone. It's not the same as saying, don't invest. Why are you still investing in XRP? It's such an old narrative. Like, that's very specific. That's almost like you believe in that, but it doesn't mean we should all believe it. But when it comes to investing and being long-term invested, it's like it applies to everyone. It's a great advice to give to someone who's starting to invest, is telling them, listen, don't think that you're going to put in $1,000 and become rich and a millionaire from it in the next couple of months. Like, it can happen if you happen to be lucky enough to put it into a random meme coin that just explodes, but that's not how it works 99% of the time. Invest, be patient, and then it's going to grow tremendously over time.
Guys, I'm going to give you an XRP update. We are trading at $2.81, a 282 now as we speak. And what we really need to see, again, weekly closure above 285. That would be phenomenal for the XRP price chart. So we're going to keep updating you guys on that. We do have over 11,500 people here and over 500 watching, or over 600 watching on the brand new Good Evening Crypto channel. I want to thank every single one of my supporters. You guys are the best in the business, and that's why we have the best live chat in the game as well. Here's the short video I wanted to talk about. XRP becoming the base layer and a Fed master account. Here it is.
Look, recently we've spoken about Hidden Road, the brokerage service coming in, and their use of the XRP ledger and the RLUSD token, the stable coin, as collateral, and that's just been confirmed by CEO Brad Garlinghouse recently. But then, out of the blue, Ripple decides they want to go as a federal bank, getting a license to be a bank from the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and then also possibly apply for a Fed master account. And I'm just like blown away. It is a massive, massive move. So if it comes off, it hasn't come off yet, but if it does come off, well, there's some serious value there. So
there you have it, guys. And Brad Garlinghouse has already confirmed they did file for a Fed master account. Now, Johnny Krypto, as you can see, Mar-a-Lago Mario is on Good Evening Crypto. You're not hallucinating, my friend. Shout out to Mario with his first appearance. And you know how we do it, Johnny. Before your introduction, I did see we just got another live donation. I just want to give a massive thank you here to K Capone. Once again, K Capone, you're the best in the business, my friend. He said, opening a WY Digital Assets LLC is smart for privacy and protection, WY being Wyoming. It also sets you up for a future tax deferral if paired with the right structures. I wonder how many in the XRP fam know this. Well, guys, a few thousand more after I just read it right here. We got 11,500 people watching, and I want to give a huge thank you to both Johnny and Mario for helping me out today. Thank you both of you guys. Love and appreciate you both. Mario, before we dive into the details, Johnny, we closed it out last night, XRP 260, and I'm good for my word. What did I tell you during that episode? We would go to sleep and we would wake up and have a $2.70 XRP. I underpredicted the pump because earlier this morning, we hit $2.95 on the XRP price chart. Currently, we're trading at about 283, and we're really just watching, can we close out the week above $2.85? But Johnny Krypto, welcome in. How you feeling, my friend? And listen, you're living the dream. I can tell. How you feeling?
I'll tell you what, you might have underpredicted, but I'm overhyped that Mario's here too. This is fantastic. I don't know if I'm Good Evening Crypto or Good Morning Crypto, but it's great to be here with all you guys. The markets are pumping. Everything's great. Unfortunately, pump is not a great word right now, Abs, because as you know, I just want to give everybody a heads up here. I may have to pop off quickly because I've got my septic getting pumped out. I got plumbing issues. So I may hop off here on up, but I just wanted to stop by and say I love you guys. This is awesome, Abs. You said it last night. You said, Johnny, will we get 260? Abs, you were wrong. We didn't get 260. We got 280, my man. But it is a beautiful thing. I woke up this morning. I saw Bitcoin at 118. All my friends are like, oh, my God, what do I do? I'm like, you do nothing. Just be patient, relax. Everything's going to be beautiful. It's all about having patience. Yes, unfortunately, it's clogged again, John. But have patience. Everything's going to be great. It's just, oh, man. It's just it's all setting up perfectly as we move into Crypto Week next week, where we get the Clarity Act, we get the Anti-CBDC Act, and we get the Stablecoin Act. All these discussions are going. You can tell the smart money is positioning itself before all that happens, Abs. It's very, very exciting times in the crypto world. And Mario, it's so great to see you, my friend, on Good Evening Crypto.
Johnny, quick comment here. There's two topics that I want to talk to Johnny about before he has to run. Now, if you're enjoying this content, be sure to smash that like button. We appreciate you guys. Somebody commented, Abs Man Bun, John, 833 shirts off at $10. So at least speak English if you're going to call me Man Bun Man. Now, Johnny Krypto, here's the reality, guys, and it's all love. I'm obviously kidding. We are sitting on so many positive catalysts. And earlier today, we heard about the big, beautiful bill. We've got the Clarity Act. We've got the Genius Act. And going forward, we may have the Federal Reserve reducing rates. It's the perfect storm for risk on assets to have a price appreciation like we've been talking about. And I don't think we can highlight that enough. If all of these things come to fruition, which I believe they will between now and the beginning of September, we may see a bull market like we've never seen before. We may see this altcoin market go from $900 billion in value north of $2 trillion in value. We may see Bitcoin go from 118,000 where it is today, maybe even $140,000 to $160,000 Bitcoin in the calendar year of 2025. This would be amazing. And we had Charles Hoskinson put out on his Twitter, he predicts 250,000 Bitcoin and a multi-trillion dollar altcoin market cap. So much optimism, so much positivity. And we've been saying it time and time again. Crypto Week kicks off next week. Well, here's the piece of news that I'm building up to here, Johnny. Breaking news out of Eleanor Terrett. The GOP, to counter the GOP's Crypto Week, Representatives Maxine Waters and Stephen Lynch are launching the Anti-Crypto Corruption Week. They are rallying Democrats to block the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC bill, warning that they pave the way for what they call Trump's crypto corruption. Now, me and Mario already broke this down. I'm sure you know what my take is going to be. And Chris Palmer, we're going to get to your comment. I promise you that. But Johnny Krypto, I need to know your immediate reaction. Maxine Waters still leading the anti-crypto chart.
My first reaction is you just can't make this stuff up. When are they going to give up? But listen, I understand it, right? There's a lot of money at stake. And it's kind of like you're losing the game, but the score is 21-0. And you're like, yeah, but we're still going to play, and we're going to play to the end. And that's what's going to happen here, is that the Democrats are going to fight this thing to the very end. I think the good news is it feels to me like the lobbyists have the pro-crypto lobbyists have enough votes in the Republican side, and maybe with a few Democrats, to be able to carry this thing over the goalpost. So I think we'll get there. I think we'll end up making the win. And, at the end of the day, but it's just so sad that they just won't quit. And it's okay. I think there's always going to be an anti-crypto faction until the nail's in the coffin, until the bills get passed. And then finally, they're going to stop fighting it. But it doesn't surprise me whatsoever that you're still seeing them going down with a fight. Because here's the one thing I will say about the Democrats, Abs. Republicans, they fall apart, like they don't stick together at all, right? But Democrats, they stick together like glue. They all stick together, and they'll go down with the sinking ship. They're like the band on the Titanic. The thing is sinking, and they're going down with the ship, and they're going to go down with it. They just don't quit, and they're going to fight it to the end, But let's not forget Maxine Waters. Who is she connected to? Remember your boy FTX? She's got a nice picture smiling with FTX and a bunch of other congressmen, and all of a sudden, crypto was good then when FTX was paying her how many donations, Abs? Do you remember? Because you used to show the numbers. I don't know, was it like $35 million in campaign
40.
donations?
40.
Thank you. There you go. 40 million. Oh, that crypto was great, but now it's a problem. So let me get this straight. Maxine is saying, what she call it? The Trump, I forgot how you said it. The Trump, crypto scam tariff thing, right? Or whatever she called it. Versus, but when she was getting money and donations from the crypto community, then it was totally fine and okay. But now that Trump, her competitor, is getting, or is actually pushing, he's not even really getting campaign donations anymore. He's just pushing a technology because he wants to create jobs for America. He knows the rest of the world is doing it with or without us, Abs. He wants us to be the front runner, and that's a bad thing? Forget about it. Put her to sleep. I got to give her an 833 and put her to sleep, Abs.
Here's the reality, guys. First of all, Chris Palmer commented, as I said last night, thank you guys for this show and GMC. Massive shout out to Chris Palmer. We see you here every single day, and we appreciate every single donation. Thank you so much, guys. And as a quick reminder, we got 12,300 people here, Johnny. A lot of people are underestimating what can happen at the back end of this year because of all the things that we just outlined. Mario, the reality is there is going to be a day. I'm going to say this definitively. There is going to be a day when me and you wake up and we're looking at a $10 XRP, and maybe that day is in 2025, maybe it's in 26, maybe it's in 27. My belief is it's probably in 2025. But the truth of the matter is that it was only 8 months ago when me and you were on a phone call in November. Do you remember this? I was in Florida. This is a true story. I was in Florida. Mario, we were on the phone trying to plan dinner. I forget what it was. We were talking about XRP, and he ends the phone call by saying, call me back. Or did I say it to you? It was one or the other. Call me back when XRP is 70 cents. And we hung up the phone. And I remember it wasn't a day or two later where you called me back and you go, hey, you see the price chart? I'm feeling that same kind of energy right now with a $3 XRP. It's like, we're going to do the show here, guys. We're going to say, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon. We're going to hang up the phone. Maybe GEC will be back on in about 6 hours because we're at a $3 XRP and we got to record the pump. That's the kind of energy that feels like is in the air, Mario. But any quick remarks or whatever's on your mind, floor is yours.
Well, you're absolutely right, Abs. And I do definitely recall that conversation. And I even recall exactly where I was when we had that conversation. But like the cool thing is that it's all like a journey, and it's all about giving it time, right? It got very frustrating for a while being an XRP investor because we kept seeing that range. We kept seeing 50, 60, 70, back to 50, 60, 70. And it got very difficult as an XRP investor to just have the patience, especially when we were seeing the market do well. Like at some point, last year in 2024, Solana was completely destroying it. It was doing really good from, when I said destroying, I meant like in a good way. Solana was ripping. Solana was creating a lot of wealthy people. And as XRP investors, we were like, we've got clarity for XRP. The lawsuit came to pretty much a conclusion from XRP status perspective. Why isn't XRP moving? We spent a lot of last year talking about what is it going to take for XRP to move? Is it going to miss another bull run? This was a discussion that not only we had, but a lot of other channels were having. Is XRP going to miss another bull run? It looks like we have another bull run that's driven by hype, that's driven by a narrative. And we just couldn't imagine what narrative was going to come that was going to support XRP essentially going up in price and having Solana type of gains. But it was all about just being resilient. It was all about just believing in what you're invested in the crypto space. Know what you hold seems to be a phrase that's used for that type of scenario. And here we have it. And we have $2.83 XRP. $2 has been sort of like the new floor. It's revealed to be sort of like the new 60-cent range over the last few months. And I think that's a great indication for what a bear market could look like. Is $2 going to be our bottom in a potential bear market, depending on what levels we get up to? So I think the exciting thing is that it's the bull run's in full effect. We're not out of the woods yet. A lot of people were saying bull runs was over, and that's not the case. Bull run's in full effect. Bitcoin's at new all-time high. For anybody that said that the background of Johnny Krypto was fake, there's your ultimate proof. Some random person just walked right behind him. It is not fake. It is live. And here we have it, $2.83 XRP.
Johnny Krypto, I got to admit, your father's more handsome than you, my friend. But we got 12,600 live listeners. Of course, I'm kidding. It's a compliment to the original Johnny Krypto. That's what that is, Johnny. But I did just want to give a huge thank you. Another live donation. Dark Rider VR commented, hello guys, what kind of floor should we expect by November, December price-wise after the blow up top? And I said this last night, Johnny, this is just an opinion that I have. I think the prices that we're at right now will be the bear market bottoms. I think $2 XRP, $2.25 XRP, that will probably be the new 40, 50 cent XRP for the next bear market, if we even have one. Now, that's total speculation, but that's my opinion. Dark Rider, I hope that answers your question there. And I also want to give a big shout out to Chris Palmer once again. Thank you for being here every single day. We appreciate all the donations. Now, Johnny, this comment right here is so valuable because there's a lot of people who didn't make it through the bear market. Crypto Jake commented, I almost sold all my XRP because I was tired of being an XRP investor. Thank God I didn't. So true, right, Johnny? Creating a plan, sticking to your plan, it's what's going to define who succeeds and who gets terminated during these bull markets and bear markets. Crypto Jake, shout out to you for being persistent, not getting scared out of this market. And I think there's thousands of people out there who were looking at the XRP price chart over the last several years, Johnny. And you know what? It was called a stable coin. We were called a cult. I started off this episode by showing you a video of Raul Paul where he said, XRP community, you're being played. So we had to overcome all that adversity for not just 2-3 years here, but also there's a whole class of people right here. Shout out to Mario, who came into this market in 2017, were dragged through a bear market, thought we were going to $5, stopped at 2, came all the way back down and traded sideways for another 3.5 years. You want to talk about PTSD? Thoughts and prayers for our friend Mario. All right. But I'm kidding. But Johnny, crypto floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, let me just give a shout out to what's his name there? Yes, thank you, Dark Rider. Thank you for the donation and helping Abs out. And Abs, it's funny, as my dad was walking around in the back, he's 83 years old, so we leave him alone. He gets to do what he wants. He's walking around in the back of her. My mom sits on the other side of them. She's just sitting there listening, and she goes, "Oh my God, Abs is so good at what he does." I go, "Yeah, we know. Abs is the best in the business." But shout out to Dark Rider. I actually agree with you, Abs. To answer the question here, I think $2 is kind of where we're gonna see if you're like, where is the bottom? Where is it gonna be? The fact that we kind of hit that 190, and maybe even like it could be like 190s, 180s for a short, quick bang, and then we go up. I think that's kind of where I think we're setting a new base there. I don't know if you can argue that the value of XRP should be any lower than that ever. So I think from that perspective, that's what we're looking at. But guys, remember, if you can, please go to the Good Evening Crypto channel, hit that, not the likes button, but smash the subscribe button. We're trying to help Abs get over 10,000 subscribers before August, the end of August. So you guys got the power to do it. Make it happen. And remember, he's got that beautiful, only 2 in the world, signed Merlin hat. There it is, by none other than the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz. If you want that hat, it will be raffled off at 10,000 subscribers. So help Abs get there. We want to free, like I say, free Willie, free Abs. We're going to free him from society so he can do this full time. And we all want to, hopefully someday we can join him. But the reality is, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button. But Abs, this is just exciting times. And I know everybody in this chat, thank God, what was it, Crypto Jake? Thank God you held on, my friend, because I remember, Abs, around maybe 6 months ago, maybe it was October-ish, September, October. Dude, I remember seeing all over Twitter, all I kept seeing people saying was, I think I'm going to sell my XRP. I hate this thing. It's a freaking stable coin. I can't stand it. It's terrible. It's killing me. I don't want to hold it no more. And you know what, Abs? Unfortunately, a lot of people did sell it. They did get out. Like I said, I'm out. And you know what? Holy crap, are they regretting it right now? You're looking at a 4 to 5x you just lost. And this is just the beginning, my friend. We know we're going much, much higher from here.
It's fun, guys. It's an exciting time, and we have to take the time to celebrate this because for years, we didn't have days like today. We didn't have days. Can you imagine, Mario, if XRP had went up, and I'll tell you how many cents are we up on the week? We are up from 226 to 283 right now. So roughly 57 cents here. So we're up 57 cents on the week, and people are like, oh my gosh, we're pulling back. We're pulling back. We're not at $3 yet. We're not at $5 yet. This is amazing. XRP is outperforming, and I think this sets up an extremely bullish picture for the XRP community all through the end of 2025. After regulation, after stable coins, after ETFs, we are going to see this market expand like we never have before. And I'm going to say it one more time because I think it's valuable. $2.83 XRP in the long run is extremely undervalued. Extremely. We are, because of all those catalysts that I just outlined. But Mario, I want to give a huge thank you to Mario, huge thank you to Johnny, guys. Mario, any thoughts here? And we'll play a couple of videos and then maybe I'll keep rocking and rolling. Mario, Johnny, whenever you guys have to go, you let me know. We'll wrap it up for today.
Well, I think it was funny that you referenced 57 cents being the difference of just gains between yesterday and today. And the funny thing is that 57 cents is what we had to deal with for years. 57 cents was, 50, 60, 70, 80, like I was saying before. It was the range that XRP was stuck for years. So anybody that has been invested in XRP that long, and XRP goes to 6, 8, 10, 15, whatever these price targets, you are not lucky. You were resilient. You believed, you researched, you listened, you learned. You were not lucky. If you just got into XRP recently, your average cost is maybe $2. You are still early. You may have to wait for the generational wealth, for the transformational money, but you are still very early. So I just thought that was very different, that now we get a price move that's essentially the price of XRP for such a long period of time, and people almost don't appreciate it. It's almost like, why aren't we at $4 yet? Why are we only still 282? And then we get to 297, and then we come back down to 282, and people are saying, oh, we're crashing. The price just crashed dramatically. It's like, no, it didn't. Like, we're just correcting a little bit. It's par for the course. So that's kind of what sticks out to me as. I just think it's interesting. As humans, we sort of don't appreciate sometimes, and I'm at fault for that too. Like, we don't appreciate sometimes what we have when it happens, right? It's only when we take a step back, and sometimes it takes people even bringing it up saying, come on, like, we went for so long at 60 cents. We're at 283. This is a time to be grateful. This is a time to celebrate, like you said, Abs. And, obviously greater things are coming, but, it's awesome to see the price action that we have seen over the last 24 to 48 hours.
Shout out to every single person who's listening, guys. And Johnny, I know you got a couple of comments here, but I think it's still valuable to kind of read the live chat and see what people are thinking as well. Super cycle loading. Now, Clinton commented, how am I supposed to work when GMC and GEC are both live 24/7? Here's what we should do. We should make a deal, Johnny Krypto. If XRP is back above $3, we're going live, right? So if it's 2 a.m., if it's 3 a.m., Johnny Krypto, that's 2 p.m. for my friends. So you're going to be wide awake.
That's midday for me, baby. I'll do it. At 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm ready to roll, baby.
The thing is, I don't think many of our listeners will be ready to roll at 2 to 3 a.m. But who knows? We got global people out here, Europeans. We got South Africans. We've got Brazilians.
South Koreans. Don't forget the South Koreans. They love our South Korean brothers. I love you guys. They love XRP. They're sitting there chomping at the bit to be buying that bad boy. And they're watching it as it's pumping up, to $3. And where are we at, Abs? 283. So we should ask the chat a question. Do we think, maybe one's in the chat, do we think we'll break $3 this weekend? And 2, if you don't.
Look, Japanese right here. Shout out to the Japanese.
Shout out to the Japanese Honda. You guys make great engines. I love the Japanese.
You know what's awesome, guys, is that here's what I promise you. If XRP is above $3, we're going to go live during this weekend. Maybe it won't be at the exact moment, but I promise you will get a live out of GEC this weekend. So,
yeah, I may be on the boat, but I may even try to FaceTime you live from we get $3. You let me know. We need to break like 3.30. Oh, my plug.
Forget being on the boat. You should be out at the shop purchasing a new boat, Johnny Krypto. And something happened where Johnny just ran away from the camera. But guys, we got 13,500 people here. If you enjoyed today's show, big thank you to Mario. Please show us some love. Smash the like button. It really does help us out. Just letting the algorithm know that you like this show and you enjoy this channel. And I want to give a big thank you because we already passed 390 likes. 10 more likes. We're breaking that 400 mark. And somebody said Johnny Jedi. I call him Johnny Yoda, my friends. But Mario, floor is yours, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think we will get the $3 price point, Abs. I mean, at this rate, it's really not that big of a move. Again, we have to see kind of what the macro crypto environment's going to do, but it does look like Bitcoin is now finding that resistance of the $118,000 price point. We know weekends can be a sort of like a hit or miss. The stock market closes, so it becomes a little more uncharted waters as far as crypto is concerned. So it could be a crazy weekend. I definitely remember 2021 had crazy Saturdays and Sundays where it just pumped like crazy, but we'll have to wait and see. Bitcoin continues to do well and continues to hold these levels. Then I say XRP definitely primed to continue this uptrend. If Bitcoin gets that little correction, which in my opinion would actually even be a good thing, I know a lot of people might get a little panicky if we see Bitcoin correct, maybe back down to like 108 to 106, but that would actually be a good thing. Cool off a little bit so we can continue marching upwards. But I say we get the $3 this weekend, Abs.
Nice.
Johnny, floor is yours.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question, but I'm gonna say that to me, I think because, and I got to run out because the plumber's calling me, so I got to go. I'm the plumber assistant today. But anyway, the reality is with crypto week coming, I can't imagine we don't continue to see liquidity flood through the weekend. We'll have to see and keep an eye on it. I think $3 is achievable for sure. And I'm sure it is. I'm sure you're going to be texting like, we got to go live right now. But I'll see what I can do. I'm probably going to be out on the boat. But worst case scenario, I love you guys. Appreciate you. I got to run. You guys enjoy the weekend. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be hot. And Abs, as you said, there's going to be so much winning. Guys, enjoy the winning. So much winning. You're going to get tired of winning. But keep winning. Keep enjoying life. Because like I said, everybody, as we hold on to long term, you get a lake house. You get a lake house. Everybody's going to get a lake house. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be hanging out with Mario down in the hot area. But I love you guys. Appreciate you. And I'll see you guys. You guys continue on. And I'll see you, Abs. I don't know. We'll probably be doing this in 6 hours. Who the hell knows?
Listen, Johnny Krypto, just dispel the rumors. Is the background real? Can you do a backflip off the deck to end the episode? Is that possible?
I don't think you want me to do it. I can go sit on the swing, but I definitely can't do a backflip. But yeah, see, the background is real. It is a real. You see the trees swinging in the background?
No, what XRP price before you buy yourself a bigger boat?
Oh, great question. Let me think about that. I want a wake boat, so I'm gonna need, you know what?
295, 296.
No, not even, no, dude, no. I need more like, if we get to $10, that'll be nice. I'll be paying that shit in cash.
How many bucks? How many?
$10. We need a $10 XRP.
$10 XRP, and you heard it right here. Johnny's getting a wake boat. Now
Love
look
you
at this.
guys.
Big thank you to Johnny. Massive shout out. Mario, we're moving. We're at 284. This thing may start pumping as we're just about to jump off, guys. So I don't know. I'm going to stick around if there's people who are willing to stick around. Mario, thank you so much. You gave us a ton of your time. I'm not going to, I can't be more appreciative that you did Good Morning Crypto and Good Evening Crypto while he's traveling, guys. So massive shout out to Mr. Mario. Mario, if you could give the people a message of hope. As an investor since 2017, I think we can finally look at the market. Sounds cliche, but this time is legitimately different. And I do think it is different because we're going to see ETFs, we're going to see regulation, we're going to see the biggest companies in the world buying digital assets going forward. Any quick remarks in regards to that? And then, you're free to go. There's no handcuff to the chair, my friend.
Well, I'm glad to know that I can clock out. But I think as far as a message of hope, honestly, the timeline of XRP, I think that in and of itself is a message of hope. Since 2017, like I've said multiple times, discovering an asset that has all of these rumors, all of these speculations of being an asset that's going to be a key instrument to the evolution of the financial system. In the beginning, it was the idea that it was going to be a SWIFT replacement. And then December 2020 comes and Ripple gets sued by the SEC. And all of a sudden, we're at this moment where we're in a bull run. Crypto is supposed to do what we know now, it was capable of doing in 2021 for Bitcoin and a lot of the other assets. And now all of a sudden, that XRP price momentum just gets completely crushed. And we go from being, I think, 70, 80 cents all the way down to as low as 20 something, even 17 cents. And 2021 comes, prices continue to soar for altcoins. XRP gets to like $1.90, which a lot of people didn't really appreciate, me included. We didn't really appreciate the fact that it moved from like $1.70 to $1.90. We didn't appreciate the fact that that alone was a 10x, because we were anticipating XRP to go to $7, $8, $9, $10, because based off of the 60-cent prices and the 40s and the 30s that it was in during the bear market, those were the targets to be expected for XRP, given the growth that crypto does during the bull run. So a lot of people were expecting those prices. We didn't get those prices. So what did we have to do? We had to hold this asset for another bear market. Go 50, 60, boring price action and uncertainty around the asset, uncertainty around the asset class. We get the ruling that XRP is not a security. nothing happens to the price. We pump, the next day we're back at the levels, or 2 days later we're back at the levels that we were before we even got the news. Crypto starts to move. Bitcoin starts to go into all-time highs. ETFs are being approved. Solana is doing exceptionally well with, in my opinion, just the volume of meme coins, essentially just that hype around meme coins. And here we are, XRP investors, knowing that this is something that's going to change the financial system and a lot of the ways in which that sector works, and nothing is happening. And then all of a sudden, November comes, President Trump wins the elections. He starts to promote crypto, wants to create a positive crypto landscape in America, and starts saying that we want to turn America into the crypto capital of the world, and we want to favor crypto, U.S. crypto companies. And that was the catalyst, and XRP soars to $3.20. I mean, dude, to me, that is the ultimate message of hope. It's the message that those of us that believed in an asset in the worst of times, in the times of most fear, when it all seemed so uncertain in general for crypto, not just XRP, but even just in general, we continue to hold. And those that continue to buy, I mean, that's even more resilient. It's continuing to accumulate. That is the ultimate message of hope. So whatever comes next, in my opinion, I think it's going to be nothing compared to what we already went through. We've got all the battle scars already. Whatever comes, we're already so numb to any sort of pain. Whatever comes, it's just going to be a confirmation that we need to buy more. So I think that's the message of hope that I take from all this, Abs, is just that I am extremely grateful for the fact that I discovered crypto in 2017, but even more grateful that I discovered this community in 2020, because it allowed me to, it allowed me to stay accountable. We all kept each other accountable through times of fear. So we were coming here on Good Morning Crypto, and we didn't have to, but we needed to pass messages of hope. We needed to tell the people that this was going to be temporary. Were there doubts in our minds? Absolutely. Was there doubts in my mind? All the time. But at the end of the day, we needed to be optimistic, because there was a lot of signs that were far greater than the negative ones. There was a lot of positive signs that were far greater, that was just temporary. So that's my message of hope. And so we all deserve to be here. We all deserve what's coming. And the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to continue saying it. The amount of money that's going to enter the space in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be absolutely insane.
It's so awesome, guys. And whether you're new to the market, whether you've been here for a while, everybody should be excited about the future of digital assets. We are going to see a new evolution of people inside the US who are wealthy from crypto. And it's not just going to be Bitcoin investors. There's going to be thousands of XRP investors who go from thousandaires to millionaires, millionaires to 10 millionaires, maybe even 100 millionaires or billionaires in the crypto market. And one thing I've noticed about doing this show, guys, there are people in the live chat who don't comment. They just tune in. They just listen, who have 500,000, a million XRP, and they just don't talk about it. They secretly watch the YouTube channel. They keep up to date with all the exciting topics, but they don't talk about it. So I think it's really interesting that there is that portion of the community. And Mario, when we're all out there in XRP Las Vegas, you can tell it's a certain class of individuals that find themselves in XRP. And Val commented, XRP is the new retirement fund. I agree with you, at least for myself, right, guys? And we're looking at a $2.83 XRP. We're going to begin signing off for today. If you enjoyed today's content, be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to my brand new channel, Good Evening Crypto. As you guys can tell, we're going to continue doing updates. And you have my word, when XRP is above $3, or if XRP is above $3 this weekend, I will be going live once again. Hopefully, I can get someone to do it with me. But we love you guys. We appreciate you all. I want to give a huge thank you to Mario. Mario, it's your first GEC. It's probably your first in many. I think I can pretty much say that definitively. But the reality is that it's a new day. The first episode from Mario on Good Evening Crypto, XRP was $2.80. What will his last episode look like? Are we going to look at 100, 5,000, $10 million XRP? The world only knows. And I'm just teasing, of course. But Mario, huge thank you for joining us today. Massive thank you to the 14,300 people who are listening. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button. We love you all. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.